Alright guys, we are back at it again in the Slayer album review series. We left off last time with Hell Awaits. Of course, that means this time we're looking at probably their most well-known album that has their most well-known song, the super iconic Rain and Blood, with one of the most iconic and coolest album covers and craziest album covers, I think, of all time. Just a lot of crazy stuff going on here, a lot to take in on that image. But it's just super cool, especially having it on vinyl here, being able to see it, see all the art, pretty up close here. Then you got a really cool shot of the band on the back. But yeah, like we talked about last time, we've kind of seen this clear evolution of the band, much like we see with a lot of these bands. Sometimes maybe there'll be an era where they just kind of stay stagnant or whatever, or at the same pace, but we're continuing to see these guys evolve. The atmosphere that Hell Awaits brought us is, again, a big factor here, and it has evolved yet again. And with, we've got, again, the same classic Slayer lineup. These guys don't go through a shitload of lineup changes like a lot of the bands that we've been covering, Sabbath and everything. So you're gonna get, for the most part, the same lineup. I'll make a comment, or something about it whenever we do get a big lineup change. We've got a little bit to go until that happens. So this is of course produced by Rick Rubin, which is a great producer. I know some stuff and not so much. He's had some kind of controversial production techniques, on some later albums. I know one of them is like Metallica's Death Magnetic. He produced that, which people say, like, among other albums they say that he's done, he turns up the volume too much to where it's just like you can't hear the instruments very clear. Well, that's not really the case here at all. In fact, this is probably the most famous album that he's produced. I think I would say so. Hell, his name is in big letters right back there. So, and probably the album that really got his name known. But anyways, yeah. So the production with all that, it's just very, very atmospheric. That's one thing that Hell Awaits really brought to the table last time we covered it. And the atmosphere is all here. We open it up with Angel of Death. I mean, holy hell, what an absolute blast of a track, a kick to the face immediately. You get just the crazy, blood-curdling screams that Tom Araya, was known for by this point, even starting off there. And, this one's about, I forget his name, but the Nazi doctor who was known as the Angel of Death. He performed all kinds of wicked shit, experiments and all kinds of crazy stuff. And that's what this one's about here. And it's one of my favorite songs on the album. I mean, and one of my favorite Slayer songs of all time. It's really fast-paced stuff, really, really heavy, of course. And then, after, he's singing like, Auschwitz, the meaning of pain, the way that I want you to die, and, just going, and kind of even, just repeating kind of like Angel of Death, Then it starts building up, and you hear Dave Lombardo come rolling in with the drums with another amazing performance by Dave. And then, of course, we get that just enormous breakdown with just that badass riff. Man, the breakdowns that are featured on some of these songs in here are just, wow, super powerful and just hit you like no other. They give you the goosebumps. And that's, no different here on Angel of Death, with one of the best Slayer songs of all time, one of the best album openers, I could say, of all time. For me, that's just how you do it right there, is you just blast to the face. But just this is one of the lengthier tracks on this album. There are a lot of tracks that are even 2 minutes on here. This is a really quick listen, but it doesn't matter, because Angel of Death, that opens up what feels like a journey to hell. Is how this album, the atmosphere sounds, and that's a big part due to Dave Lombardo's drumming on here. Then we go with Piece by Piece, which is just another super freaking fast track. I mean, come on. Really, really, really fast stuff going on here. The speed is unlike any other of their albums. I mean, we get, and then, we just train piece by piece. And this is another just really, really quick one, but my God, it's so damn good. So damn good. Then we move on, and, it feels like, again, the journey through this album, it feels like you're going down and down into, like, each deeper part of hell. We go to Necrophobic, and, again, just the freaking, the speed of the vocals. I mean, at times it sounds like Tom's freaking speaking in tongues, of course, which he's not. The lyrics are there, and on the liner notes and everything, but he's just going so fast. I mean, and you just hear the drums just pumping from Dave, the shredding, the squealing guitars from Hanneman and King. The band is just in a perfect unified state here, and even the bass from Tom is just, you can hear it. Again, unlike, maybe other Rick Rubin albums where you maybe can't hear all the instruments as clear, this is not the case at all. You can hear everything going on, and it sounds like a storm in hell or something. But Necrophobic is one of those tracks, just so freaking fast and so damn heavy. And, oh man, it just tears it'll just grab you by the throat. Then we go with Altar of Sacrifice, which is just one of my favorites off here, big time. Big time, one of my favorites off here. I love the speed of this one that goes on, and then about a good midway point through, you get like this just crazy. Again, I'm going to talk a lot about the drumming here because it's just a big factor here with Dave Lombardo. He just starts rolling, and at this point, the speed at which he's going, it's like, man, you could be a death metal drummer with them blast beats. Just insane talent that he's got. But anyways, yeah, you get this, after the speediness, kind of Altar of Sacrifice, everything, the really cool riff they got going, it kind of gets this huge kind of drum roll, and then like just this pounding that goes along with Tom Araya saying, enter to the realm of Satan, and just like, and then the speed picks back up again, do their thing, and then you go back to it a little bit faster, and then it ends with like him screaming, Hail Satan, which is just freaking nuts and just crazy, chaotic Slayer goodness. And Altar of Sacrifice, one of my favorites off here. Then we close side one out with Jesus Saves. Man, they even close out side one with maybe the speediest one off here. If not, I mean, there are good like 3 of them that are definitely among their fastest on this album and of their entire discography. And Jesus Saves is, I could say that's one of them. Very, very fast, very, very dark lyrics. Again, just like kind of the disclaimer before I even started reviewing these guys, or I think on in the first video, this stuff is very dark, very evil sounding and stuff. But it's just music, and it's just badass. If you guys aren't a fan of it, I get it or whatever. And a lot of controversial stuff being said within the lyrics or whatever, but doesn't really bother me. I'm a huge Slayer fan, if it isn't clear by now. But anyways, yeah, Jesus Saves has a lot of those lyrics that would maybe piss some people off or whatever, but a great song and a great fast way to close out side one. Flip the side over, and you immediately open up with another just a blood-curdling riff with Criminally Insane. I love the cool kind of rhythm and the lyrics that are going on, like night will come and they will follow, all my victims know tomorrow, or something of that nature, and just the way it kind of is paced and everything. That's kind of like the chorus of this one. Really, really fast one yet again off here as kind of the verses roll through. And one of my favorites off Criminally Insane, and that's one that I've always been a big fan of. That's just a huge track right there. Then we get to Reborn, that opens up with this really, really badass drumming. That's kind of a little bit slower tempoed, but it's like a pounding of them. Like, it sounds like freaking this picture is what this album sounds like all throughout. And man, it's just very eerie. And then you get the Tom Araya again, just doing, singing and speaking in tongue, if you want to. It sounds like he is, but again, there's lyrics there so damn fast and so damn heavy, and the band is playing along right with it. So if they're playing that super fast, Tom sure as hell's going to keep up, and he does it flawlessly here. With Reborn, you know, and I love at the ends of those super speedy verses and everything, you know, I will be reborn. I mean, man, very, very fast stuff. Reborn, another one of my favorites off here. Then we go on to Epidemic, which is a solid one with a solid riff. I really, really dig that one. That was one I kind of forgot. I kind of forgot about, but I mean, just a solid, solid track to kind of be kind of in the middle of that side two there. Maybe my least favorite off here. It's very hard for me to pick a least favorite off this album. Honestly, like just the way this album flows, it's just like a whole piece that, you know. And I've said it before talking about other albums, where it's like, you know, for me, I usually listen to an album all the way through, regardless. But like, if maybe that's not your sort of thing, this one is not that long of an album, and I definitely recommend listening to it as a whole piece. There, I mean, that's just the best way to listen to this thing, for sure. But Epidemic serves as a solid like middle ground point here on side two. Then we go into Mortem, which is just a beautifully heavy song with a incredible riff. Again, another speedy one with a killer, sickening breakdown. That and not only after that incredible breakdown, it starts speeding up again. You think it's over? No, it starts speeding up again and starts sounding like it's spiraling down, and you're digging deeper and going faster and faster. Then it kind of, you know, you think it ends again. Nope, it's going even faster. And I mean, this track is just one of my favorites by Slayer. Again, there's all over here a lot of my favorites. We're still in that just incredible run from these guys. And super notable run, you know. But, you know, this track, Postmortem, it ends up after going super, super fast and just into a storm of chaos. Everybody's just playing their instruments, drumming, shredding. All this stuff sounds like freaking like souls crying out. Then you just hear thunder crash and rain falling. And then you hear the iconic and one of the best riffs ever, Raining Blood. Not Rain in Blood like the album, but kind of a fun play on that Raining Blood. And man, that riff, it's just like, it's one of those riffs that just you'll remember forever. One of the hookiest riffs these guys have ever done. I know that may be like their most known song or whatever. I don't give a damn. That is an incredible track. And the perfect way to close this album. And one of the best tracks off here. And of their discography. It's one of those that's just like, man, it's hard to deny it. It's that known for a reason. And you just get like, I love the kind of groove this one gets going too, you know, as it goes along. And then like kind of during the pre-choruses, you'll get little kind of a modification, little taste of that main riff. And then the drums start beating. And then you get that, again, just that head banging moment, that kind of groove going until Tom Araya, you know, Raining Blood, just, from the lacerated sky, you know, just incredible, incredible stuff. Masterful record right here. If it wasn't clear in kind of the way I described it, in my review of it here. I mean, just a masterpiece of a record. These guys have torn the shit up. All 4 reviews so far. And obviously, that's going to make this very tough to rank once we get there. But you know what? That's the fun of it. And I mean, I'm sure that it's to no surprise that, you know, you don't hear a lot of negative talk on these first, this big iconic run Slayer had during the 80s, you know, early 90s and everything. So we're not in anything too controversial yet. And now next album, though, could be a little controversial. Kind of depends on who you are. When we look at South of Heaven, which, you know, kind of got a little bit groovier there, and a little bit slower tempoed stuff. So kind of a big change from this, which, you know, we'll figure out what my thoughts and stuff on that are next time when we look at that. But yeah, if you guys or maybe have only heard just the track Raining Blood or aren't the biggest Slayer fans, put this thing on all the way through, what, it's like 30 minutes or something like that. It's not a long album at all. And you'll just be like, holy shit. You know, first time I ever heard this thing all the way through, blew me away. I was like, what have I just heard? Like, what have I just stumbled upon here? This heavy, heavy stuff. This is probably the heaviest Slayer ever got. And man, just absolutely love it. But anyways, guys, yeah, I'd love to talk about this album, some cool album art, you know, maybe some of your guys' favorite album art from these guys, and just, you know, your favorites off this. Do you guys like this kind of format they went through on this album with these like quick, even like 2-minute tracks that all really, I mean, they don't all blend together. Like you can tell when the next tracks are and everything, but like they just kind of, there's not a lot of empty space on this album in between even the tracks. When they end, it all just kind of flows beautifully together and hauntingly together. So are you guys liking that kind of thing with this album? Or, you know, because maybe I could see where maybe that would turn some people away. Maybe some people think the choruses, if you want to call them that, aren't that like memorable. Like, you know, where the hooky choruses or whatever. Well, this album is something that, you know, you didn't really need that, I think. But maybe, you know, if you're looking for something more like that, you know, Show No Mercy is definitely one of those that has that, you know. But, you know, so I'd be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on that. Like, if you like hearing Slayer do that kind of thing more or this more. This album is just a fun thing to talk about. And really their discography as a whole is. And as we continue going on, we'll keep that conversation going down there. But anyways, yeah, just we're going to be taking a peek at South of Heaven next time. So stay tuned for that. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks.